Education is a hugely important social function. It allows upward mobility by teaching individuals necessary skills and knowledge for a well-paying job. Educational attainment is a significant predictor in an individual's employment opportunity and wages. Yet, not everyone has equal opportunity to move to the top. The achievement gap is greater in countries with more racial stratification. In the United States, there's a strong link between race, educational achievement, and attainment. These educational gaps occur in standardized test scores, grade point averages, dropout rates, graduation rates, and college attendance. The National Assessment of Educational Progress shows that between 1971 and 1996, Black and Hispanic 8th graders read at about the same level as white and Asian 12th graders. The rates of Black and Hispanic students attending college has increased, but there is still a huge gap in obtaining four-year graduation degrees. Jonathan Causel, author of Savage Inequalities, argues that the educational inequalities in America today exist as a result of an equal distribution of funds in public schools. On average, schools receive 45% of their money from the state, 45% from local sources, and 10% from the federal government. The majority of local money comes from property taxes, so students living in affluent areas attend schools with higher per-pupil expenditures. These disparities have a great effect on children's educational opportunities. Causel also argues that problems of the streets in urban areas have a great impact on public schools. Douglas Downey and Benjamin Gibbs would agree with this point, since they maintain that schools are not the only source of many children's problems, a place where children only spend 13% of their waking hours. There are many aspects of children's lives that affect their development. Downey and Gibbs argue that too much attention has been put on developing accountability systems for schools, but many schools are still incorrectly assessed. Schools and teachers face different challenges, so they need to be evaluated with reasonable assessment tools. Students come to schools having different economic, social, and cultural resources. Evaluating teachers is difficult when their students have varying levels of academic skills. To illustrate this point, imagine two piano teachers instructing two students for 10 weeks. The first teacher instructs student A, who comes from a lower income neighborhood, while the second teacher instructs student B, who comes from an affluent neighborhood. Student B has a piano at home and frequently practices on his own, while student A finds it difficult to find a piano to practice on. How can these teachers be correctly evaluated given the different resources the students have? Downey and Gibbs contend that we cannot focus on school reform alone. To close the gap, we need to improve children's lives with their families and neighborhood. The Harlem School Zone is a great example of a program that has taken a community-focused approach to close the achievement gap. Harlem School Zone aims to create a positive pipeline to give students educational and social capital to succeed in school. According to Will Dobby and Roland Fryer, up to half of the gap can be explained by family environment indicators. Harlem is a large, predominantly Black neighborhood in New York City that has high poverty, high unemployment, and low educational attainment rates. The Harlem School Zone provides various services and resources to support students from birth to college graduation. It starts with a parenting class that teaches parents research on child development. Young children then attend a 6-week session that prepares them for Harlem Jumps, an intensive preschool program created by Harlem School Zone. After preschool, students start attending one of the two Promise Academies, which are two charter schools that have longer days and longer school years. Harlem School Zone also offers college preparatory programs and community programs to provide additional resources for families. The programs created provided much-needed support and services for the Harlem community. Ultimately, Harlem School Zone has had a dramatic impact on the lives of those children and their families in their program.